Hi. Hopefully I'm not going to get the SD card error again. Come on. Ah, looks like it's running. 2 minutes. And 27 seconds, 28 seconds, 30 seconds. All right, well, good afternoon, everybody. Rob here from It's a Dire Thing on a semi-beautiful Sunday afternoon, October the 2nd, I think it is, unless it's October the 3rd. So anyways, one of the two. Ooh, I got my vent closed down here. I need to open up my shield a bit because I'm fogging up. Anyways, here with my small little group from TTSR, which is the Twisted Throttle Sportbike Rider Association of Ontario. It's basically it's a big group member, and we all get together and we kind of go out and ride. I've got John here on my left. He's a good buddy of mine that we've been riding together. You know John, I'm sure, from some previous experiences that we've ridden together on Facebook and whatnot. We got our leader up there. We got Gord, and then and myself. So we are just south of Wasaga area. So out here on a small little ride. It was kind of like a bit of a day where it was kind of almost like a wash off. It was quite hectic. Getting rain. Like look up there, like out to the south of us. It's pretty crappy there. So we'll see what happens here. We're kind of heading home now because it's almost at the end of the day. So I did want to take the opportunity to thank my awesome work, Yamaha, for allowing me to have a nice ride. I've been very fortunate to ride the 2017 Yamaha FZ-10. That's right, you heard me correctly. I am on the 2017 FZ-10. What a bike. Holy smokes, what a bike. I love this bike. I've been running this bike now for pretty much the whole week. Just kind of city running, right? In and out and stuff like that, and all riding around. And now, this is the actual first real ride that I've got to get out in the open road with a couple of guys and just kind of really buzz some streets. I tell you, strip it down. We don't need all the bells and whistles as much as we all like that. You know what? That's one thing. The biggest thing I find is when you got all this crap going on and all the gauges and stuff, you lose out and you miss out on the one most important thing possible, is enjoying the ride. All you need is 2 wheels, engine, and a throttle, baby. Man, you just get on it and you actually enjoy the ride. You don't need to worry about the rest of the stuff, and that's what this FZ-10 does. You know, don't get me wrong, it's got the traction control and it's got the ABS, but again, you don't need to mess around with it. You don't need all this gyroscopic and accelerometers and all that crap, you know. It's got everything it needs, and then this is what you do. You just get to enjoy a really great performing motorcycle. I mean, the curves on this thing and the twisties and the turns and just the comfort level, the seating position. Oh, it is such a beautiful bike. I mean, I'm a big fan of FZ series. I really like FZs, and I've been riding all summer long on the FZ-07. Great, fantastic street little ride, you know, and a city rider. A little bit underpowered, but other than that, I mean, you know what? Depends on how much riding you actually do, where you need that much power. I think, you know what, it compromises. It can hold its own, even with a big boy class. And then I went on to the FZ-9, which is the bike I fell in love with. I fell in love with this bike last year. So, you know, that's definitely a bike that I'll be looking at, and I would like to buy one if I can get at a good price. FZ-10, which is now the bigger brother again, this thing is just the granddaddy of all FZ series. Like, this thing just rock and rolls. Beautiful, beautiful bike. Oh, we're turning here, so. But yeah, it's such a fantastic little bike. So, anyways, no, let's see. Nothing really much to talk about other than we're just kind of riding around and enjoying a ride with a couple of friends, and that's the important part, right? So, beautiful little ride. A little bit more traffic than we would expect, but that's okay. So we got 1, 2, and 3 behind us. We can go ahead now. I don't know if this ride is still a ride, or is it we're just kind of heading home where we can kind of start to do whatever we want to do, but I'm not going to worry about that. So yeah, it's kind of unpredictable weather here. It's kind of not the sweetest thing, but still, it doesn't matter because I'm riding the FZ-10 and I love it. Great little bike. Price Canadian wise, I think it was what, $15.88. Such a worth it bike. Now, on the con side of things, on the that was the pros and whatnot. Like, yeah, you know, there's a bit of hiccups as well with any kind of bike, right? Though it's still an R1 engine, it's kind of like not geared down, but it's kind of the gearing on it is almost like as if it's more for street and not for highway. So that's fine. You know what? You don't need to get on it. You don't need to do 300 kilometers an hour because, I mean, and even when you do, you don't do it for that long. So who cares, really? You need the bottom end torque, and you want the torque to be able to overtake and stuff like that, or come out of a curve and hit some nice throttles. So, and that's where this bike is really nice. But I find, compared to, because I'm so used to the FZ-9 and the FZ-7, is the bottom end torque. I am so used to the bottom end torque, where this one here kind of gets the torque around 6,000 RPM, right? And that's already getting up high. Now, mind you, I like to do wheelies. I'm a wheelie guy, and I like to do wheelies right from the get-go, right from the stop almost, right? You can't really do it on this one comfortably. Now you can if you play around with the throttle a bit, but I'm not comfortable doing that. I like to be already up at a nice level, you know, and I don't pop my clutches and stuff like that. I like to power wheelie. So this one here, you know, you're already almost at the, you know, the red limiter, and then it starts to lift, and that's when you put it into second, or you take off in second and do the wheelies. But I would wish, you know, there to be a little bit more torque down at the bottom. You can always compromise, you know, with a chain sprocket kit and stuff like that, right? But you know, that's not what I wanted to do. So, because then you're going to compromise in your speedometer and your so you don't want to compromise in the speedometer and stuff like that, and the gearing and whatnot. So, hello, John. So, but anyways, that's the only biggest thing I find is just a little down gear ratio. Second biggest issue, unfortunately, is the seating position in the back, the passenger seating. Like, you know, yeah, it's not really a bike and whatnot like that, but this is what they're gearing this bike for. They're gearing this bike more for touring. So, touring, technically, a lot of times is you have some luggage and whatnot, or you're going to have a passenger with you because they would like to go and tour with you. The seating position on the touring bike is just god-awful. The legs are right up too high, so you know the passenger, regardless of the passenger, like I normally ride with my son, and my son's 14 and he's only 58 inches tall, so he's a very short guy, yet his knees are almost still up to his ears on this particular bike, you know, whereas an FZ-9 is just absolutely fantastic, you know, a little bit leaned over, but that, I mean, you can kind of compromise that with a bar riser, but at least the passenger portion of it is really comfortable. You know, it's funny how they take, you know, multiple bikes and they just make fantastic portions out of it, and yet in other sections of it they completely missed out. Well, now we've got, you know, a super baseline of the FZ series where we need to get the front end of this one, the FZ-10, with the rear end of an FZ-09, and just kind of mash them up together and make this ultimate performance, ultimate riding bike with lots of comfort. It's just, you know, that's what we need to do. So, but well, looks like we're going to get ready to kind of overtake. Oh, so, yeah, we'll see. But yeah, no. But other than that, like, this bike is still quite far a pleasure. No, we're going to have to hold off, man. So. No. Got slow-moving vehicles. No. He's turning. Anyways. So anyways, yeah. Ooh, look at that stage up there, eh? So, anyways, back to our ride. So, rear position could have been a little bit better, right? But other than that, still a very completely super bike. No bar buzz whatsoever. But again, that's you know, that's somebody who gets used to riding around and stuff like that. Super comfortable ride. Seat's a little bit hard, but you know what? It's actually comfortable. It's an actual comfortable bike. I've been sitting on this bike right now for almost 3.5 hours, 4 hours, and I don't have any bicycle shorts or paddings or stuff like that, right? So it's a totally comfortable bike. Not much of a seat for the back passenger, but again, that can all be accessorized, you know, with the comfort seats through Yamaha and stuff like that. So we do offer a wide variety of accessories. The only thing that is on this bike, sorry, I should have mentioned that this bike is stock. The only thing that is on this bike is a sport shield. That definitely makes a difference. I mean, it deflects a lot of air. I don't feel any air at my head. So it is hitting over the helmet. So it actually does work really well. Other than that, you can always buy the heated grips and stuff like that. So it's definitely could be accessorized as a touring bike. You got the saddlebags and stuff like that. Now, you know, we are working with different saddlebag companies, working with different kind of combinations, because this one does have a higher exhaust, whereas the other FZ series has a low exhaust. So this one comes up, and that's the only downside about it, is if, you know, you're stuck in traffic or you're on an idle for a long time, you'd get the heat from the exhaust coming up, and we don't want that on the bag. So, but other than that, the bike is really, really nice. It doesn't have any rubber dampers on the feet, so that's a lot of people like tend to look at that for the FZ series. They want something comfortable, right? They don't want to get, you know, the foot numbness. So, but other than that, it's been overall a really, really, really pleasurable ride as an FZ-10 bike. So, what we're going to do very shortly is I'm going to do a swap out, and I want to get a buddy of mine, John, who's a very well experienced rider as well. He's gone through quite a few Yamahas, who's now riding a Booza 13. I want him to give this bike a try here, and hopefully I'll be able to get his impressions of it later on. So ooh, we're kind of heading down back south again into this cloudy. As you know what, as long as I don't see any rain falling, which I don't see any signs of falling rain anywhere. It could stay dark, stay black for all I care, but keep the temperatures up and keep the pressure where it needs to be so that the rain doesn't come down. So, but other than that, I'm going to put a pause on this video. I'm going to enjoy my ride, less talk, and hopefully we'll get back to you in a little bit later on. So, whew. Okay, maybe not. I'm going to continue talking because I like to talk. So still, yeah, we're way north of Toronto. No, maybe an hour, a couple of hours north of Toronto. We were hoping to see a little bit of fall colors, but that's not happening right now. So still really early. We had such a great summer this year. Not much rain, and it's just been really, really, really sunny and warm. So it's been such a great time. So totally loving this. Okay, so I spoke a little bit about the FZ-10. You know, we don't need to hear all about the specs and all that crap, because you know what? It's just about enjoying the ride, right? So cornering with this thing is so smooth. Like, it is so agile. My gear, what I'm doing, because it's a little bit colder, you know, we woke up this morning and it was kind of like one of those, the week was an on and off scheduled ride. It was supposed to be 15 of us, and now we're only ended up with 5 of us. This is through the meetup of TTSR. Check that out, man. You'll really enjoy that. I just signed up with them maybe a few weeks ago, because I kind of got tired of riding with buddies and friends at, you know what, or bailing the last minute, or we got stuff that we need to do, and da. So, you know what, I want to ride with the groups that I can ride, regardless if we're 1 or 15, it doesn't matter. Just get out and have a scheduled ride. So this week was kind of like a whole iffy week because the weather was so unpredictable for this weekend. It was a piss poor day of rain yesterday, and this morning we said we'll play it by ear and we'll see what happens. And then come this morning, I woke up at 7 o'clock. We were off to meet at 9:30 and 8:30. Woke up this morning and you couldn't even see past the front door. It was so thick of fog, and it was just like, yeah, no, it's at a write-off. So everybody kind of canceled out, right? And so I'm like, oh shit. So I was speaking to John this morning, and we're like, oh well, what do we do, right? So he's like, oh, you know, I don't know, we'll just play it by ear and maybe go out for a ride later on. I was like, okay, fine. So I lied back down on the couch and boom, fell back asleep, just to wake up with notification saying that the ride was still back on and we're all riding and we're going. And I'm like, holy shit. And it was like 10 o'clock and they had already gone kind of up north from there. So I'm like, there's no way that I was able to meet them at where the starting point was. So I said, oh, maybe I'll kind of triangulate and meet you guys kind of halfway, and then we can continue riding from there, right? So, and that's what we've done. This is where we met just now, where before. So it's it was fun. So fogging up. So, but no, TTSR group is definitely a fun group and definitely a nice way to ride. At least with you know, it's fun to ride alone and stuff like that. But you know, kind of, no, I'm not gonna say it gets boring, but it's definitely more fun to ride with a group because you get to all kind of sit down and laugh and just have a good time. So, whew, it is warm. Oh, louder bikers. So we're getting into the town here. So, yep.